this one, baby.
Where can I find the name of the gentleman who performed the anthem?
Ooh, great question.
I want to get that.
It started with a W.
I want to get that wrong. Let me just look at the recording of this game. Oh, your thing just buzzed, which is potentially.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know.
You are buzzing. Something happens at some point. What's up, YouTube? We're just getting our shit together. Don't mind us. There's this crazy ass. What was the thing for the iPad? iPad man for a good cause of some kind.
iPad?
Yeah, the iPad man. I'm looking at the beginning of the game now.
Oh yeah. There was like a kid on a robot for some reason. YouTube, pardon me.
We're just getting it together over here.
Together. We are about to pod.
We are a real podcast to which you can attest if you are watching us on YouTube.
Greetings.
Okay, almost there. Willie Two Lungs Jones.
Bro, are you kidding me? The guy's name is Willie Two Lungs?
No, it's Willie Jones, but it's Willie Two Lungs now.
It is now.
Let's look up Willie Jones. What does the internet know about Willie Jones? Willie Jones.
Will Joe. YouTube only.
YouTube only content, son. Okay, Willie Jones's #1 single is called American Dream. His second most popular single is called Down by the Riverside. This man's entire career is dedicated to being a national anthem singer.
Yeah, dude.
This we can tell for sure. It's
Yeah,
a good
bro.
gig. It's a good gig. Good work if you can get it. Ty, I don't hear any buzzing. How are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
now
yeah,
I do hear a little buzzing.
My situation is either my lights won't work or my camera won't work. So I'm gonna go with bad lights. So we're just gonna
I think that's wise.
and it's really hot here for some reason. It says it's not hot.
Just turn off the lights. Not all those lights.
Bright lights being off will help. Okay. YouTube only content.
YouTube only content.
Welcome to the live stream. We are about to get started.
Does anyone in the live stream know what the iPad man at the beginning of this was?
What that shit was all about?
What that
was it for like
For-
someone who's sick in the hospital, like that commercial?
Was it for a cause of some kind?
Yeah, I think it was probably for a cause.
Okay.
I'm going to stop my recording and start again just to make sure that I'm good.
Okay, good.
So we can do snaps in a minute.
Okay, I'm ready to snaps.
And you're right, I have a buzz. It went away. Okay. All right. I'm going to simplify this situation as much as I possibly can.
Good.
We're going to go with the normal computer camera. No lights. Just slumming it.
Ty's recording into a cup with a string.
Exactly. Okay. I am back recording.
Test it. I mean, the worst case scenario is our audio will just be as bad as it was at the last episode, which
exactly.
is apparently still listenable because hundreds of people, thousands maybe,
thousands
we'll find out. Thousands potentially one day in posterity.
All right.
How is it? Good?
It's fine. It'll be fine. You ready for snaps?
I'm ready for snaps in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Beautiful.
And you're on.
And we're on in this bitch.
And you're
starting,
live.
starting at 10:16 in 5, 4, 3, 2. Well, I can't. Well, hello, folks, and welcome.
Hello, folks.
And welcome to We the Peeps. This is the American Soccer Podcast, in which you're going to get to know everything that you need to know, I guess, about the USMNT. I'm Clayton, and I'm an artist.
I'm Ty. I'm an entrepreneur.
And we do love the Nats. That is true.
Yeah, we're frequently tested.
If you couldn't tell.
Frequently tested.
This is the proof.
We do love the Nats.
Insert here. And insert. Folks, the game was USA versus Canada. Pulisic versus Alphonso Davies. And it was ultimately somewhat disappointing, I have to say, at the outset. My spoiler alert for today is this game would end 1-1 and leave a bitter, bitter flavor, I think, on all of our palates a little bit here.
Poutine.
Yeah, if Canadian fans are also disappointed out there, you have every right to be. You're somewhat less of a right. You have less of a right to be disappointed than we do, I think. But look, I think pretty much everybody left this game feeling a little bit like, I guess. And we're going to get into all that. But first, of course, housekeeping. We got to do housekeeping because you got to keep that house. We must protect this house like Tyler Adams all day. And our way of doing that is way less cool than what Tyler Adams does. What we do is remind you to hit us with a 5-star review on your podcatcher. Tyler Adams flattens Alphonso Davies. We remind you to hit us with a 5-star review, and we'll read it on the show. We also remind you that you can find us on Twitter at WTP Pod. If you'd like to hang out with us in between games, in between camps, we're always on there. Make sure you also go to, if you really want to support us, help us out. This show is not free to produce. We are currently making sacrifices in order to do this with you guys. So please hit us up on Patreon at WTP Pod, patreon.com/WTP Pod. $5 makes you a ratified peep. You can ratify your peep status. We've had a few people do that recently. We've had a number of you who've been doing that for some months now. And as always, we need to—
Unbelievable, so touching.
It's moving, and it means the world to us. It's so important to us. This team means so much to us, and you guys are making it possible for us to just geek out as much as our hearts content, which is ultimately leaves us disappointed sometimes, but it's all right. And we're so grateful to you guys to you guys and people for going through this with us and becoming ratified peeps. Thank you. Last thing, we are also on YouTube. If you search us up, just hit that search box, YouTube, WTP Pod. You'll find us on there. Hit subscribe, hit that notification. We stream live during these games, and we stream the pod recordings as well. So if you'd like to hit us with some fact checks as we're recording this pod, you can you can do that. You can catch us on our mistakes.
Very helpful.
Hit us up in the comments. Super helpful. If you'd like to see my epic backgrounds with teenage Alphonso Davies and teenage Christian Pulisic images, you can see those on the YouTube streams. Guys, end of houser keeping.
Sweep sound.
There is only one way to get into all this, and it's to hit them with a starting lineup. Guys, it's the second game in World Cup qualifying. The World Cup has begun. It's already begun. It began before you even knew it. Let's go to game 2 with 2 hands. Maddie, 2 hands, Turner in the net. Both gloves for you. Both gloves. We're going to have the Robinson family band. It's going to go Anthony Robinson, John Anthony Brooks. We didn't talk about double Anthonys either.
You're right.
Double Anthonys. It's Anthony Robinson, John Anthony, Brooks, Miles Robinson, and then Dest. Dest having nothing to do with anything out there on an island. Destinio. Okay. In the midfield, the much debated box midfield. It took us a while to figure out what the formation was here, but we think it was Tyler Adams at the 6, and then Acosta and Sebastian Lletget at the 8-10s. And up front, a front 3 of Christian Pulisic. Welcome back. It feels like ages ago that I was that I was optimistic about this game upon hearing that in the starting lineup was our savior, the porcelain prince, Christian Pulisic, accompanied by Pafak is going on in here, Jordan Siebicia, and Aaron Siebicia, God bless you, and Aaron Swanson. Aaron Swanson is your boy, Paxton, nope, Brendan Aronson. Okay, guys, first off, before this game even began, there were a couple WTP highlights. There was the iPad man for a good cause of some kind that I didn't totally understand, the robot with the iPad face. And there was Willie Jones, who gave the most relaxed American anthem, the national anthem I have ever heard in my life.
Very
the shit
chill anthem.
was so chill. This was mumble anthem out here. All the old anthem heads are mad about it. Yeah. Mumble anthem. He crushed it though. All right. Tyler Adams would kick this. We're feeling optimistic. We're going into this. It's at home. We're gonna play Canada. We're feeling good about ourselves and about our lives. Tyler Adams gets this game going with 2 hard tackles. That would be a major theme. In the 13th minute, the first Alfonso count it would occur. Dest loses it to Alfonso Davies, who would then get a little chance, and Turner gets his first save. Is this a Turnerverse save? We're not sure. They would never show us a definitive angle of whether or not this was a shot on goal, but I'm going to go with Turnerverse save.
The Davies cutback.
Davies cutback.
There was like one perfect angle where you could kind of tell, and then they just kept giving every other angle. Yeah. So I don't know, some sort of metaphysical issue.
Something was going on there, or perhaps some Turner propaganda there. But Turnerverse either way. 19th minute, we got a long WTP highlight of Gio Reyna in the zigzag warm-up, zipping his pockets up and down and up and down and up and also down. 20th minute, again. Anthony Robinson would get a shot from 20 yards out. Came out of a press, no goal here. What to even say about the rest of this half? I mean, there were a bunch of chances. The U.S. had a lot of possession and a lot of chances. In the 26th minute, Dest would take it back on Davies. It would be tied up because Dest would shut him down and give this one to Aronson. Aronson would get a cross that would almost become an own goal, almost. But yet nothing, still 0-0. Lots to watch, not much results. 27th minute, Miles Robinson this time shutting down Davies. There was a lot of it was a team effort to shut down Davies in this one. Pulisic puts on his dancing shoes. There was some Neymaring out there from Pulisic. This end of the first half was the most Pulisic-y part of this game in retrospect. 35th minute, Pafak is going on in here, gets a chance that flashes by the post. The worst thing about this first half was seeing Dest go down for what, to my knowledge, is still a mystery, but immediately calls for a sub. Yedlin came in right at the end of this half. So it was not good. However, we'd go into the half 0-0 feeling like, you know what? US is looking pretty good. Our worst fear was that we'd go this whole game without scoring a goal. Come back in to the second half. Miles Robinson and Adams would both absolutely flatten Alfonso Davies. So that's just to complete the point that this was shut down of Davies by committee night. And then we'd get our goal. This was a gorgeous play. Before we get to how this game ends on a bitter note, let's just do our due diligence here to chef's kiss this beautiful Paxton Aronson. Wait, no. Brendan Aronson, a mamma mia. Brendan Aronson presses off of the throw-in, wins it, slots it over to Pifak, who does a back heel to Christian Pulisic, who gets fouled, but still manages to lay it off to Tyler Adams, who slots it. Now we're in the center of midfield, who slots it to the left to Kellen Acosta, who drops Anthony Robinson with the through ball. Robinson uses the speed, and then from that the most dangerous zone in all of soccer by the byline between the corner and the post, Anthony Robinson on the cutsies back to none other than who is it, Ty? It's Brendan Paxton. Brendan. It's Brendan Ron Swanson. Your boy starts it and finishes it. Oh my God. A
Starts it
beautiful
and
goal. A
finishes
pep
it.
goal. It was a pep goal from the US. Suddenly,
Safe to say.
we're starting to feel somewhat optimistic. However, this game fully opened up. Real quick before we get to Canada coming back into this game, Tyler Adams goes absolutely ham on one play, just showing that he can absolutely be a world-class player, flattening Davies, launching a gorgeous pass sequence through Brendan Aronson once again. Note that I'm naming Brendan Aronson a lot more than one Christian Pulisic, I have to say.
Indeed.
However, this beautiful, gorgeous highlight reel play from Tyler Adams is pulled back by the ref, rightfully so, it turns out, because Tyler Adams had laid a shoulder in on one of the Canadian players out of excitement. He got to feeling himself. He took it too far. Okay. So what happened here? Ty, at the 75th minute, is losing his mind because Greg has still not put in any subs. Tejan Buchanan is in. He might go all the way. Ooh, I don't even have a note on the Canada. I skipped the Canada goal because I was so upset. I blacked it out. I couldn't write it down. Ty, what happened for the Canada goal? Remind the peeps.
So Yedlin kind of got beat, and it led to Davies streaking down the left, finally finding his moment to do Davies things. Swings a ball into the box. I forget who scored, to be honest. I left the room. As soon as the ball was screaming through the US box, I left the room.
Was it the Laren? It was the Larinator.
So it was an eerily similar spot to the one that the US scored, but it was not as good in the buildup.
Not nearly as good in the buildup. It was a one-on-one victory, but hey, a goal is a goal. 82nd minute, we finally saw a little bit of a sort of a line sub, like a corner sub, a region sub. We got to see Josh Sargent, Conrad, and Christian Roldan come on in here. I'm not sure what else to say. Yeah. It's not quite a line change because it was like there was a center attacking mid, but it was a region. It was a risk region was invested in heavily.
A risk region.
And then I don't have much to say about how this game, finished out. There were a lot of US chances. Pulisic hit the post. I don't know, man. It just wouldn't come together for us. And then this game would end. Final whistle. The crowd is booing. We think at the US performance, at the draw here. Ty, what were your first impressions at this 1-1 US 2 points dropped second World Cup qualifier?
So 2 points is clearly not good enough from these first two games, but it's not good enough to qualify. We haven't been put in a position where our odds of qualifying have dropped super significantly. They've definitely dropped a little bit, but not super significantly. The larger concern is that coming out of the summer, we had a vision of this team coming into itself, really developing at the right time, becoming what we thought was the best team in CONCACAF. And on the basis of the first two results, that was a little too soon. So
not there yet.
The reason to panic is not necessarily that the team is in jeopardy being in, I think, fourth place after the first two games. It's that the team might not be as good as we thought. And that's a very tough thing to accept with all of the buildup and hype that went into it. However, if the US is to make it into this World Cup, it's 18 months away. There's a lot of time for this team to progress. I personally believe that as qualifying continues, you will see this group mature into the experience, build off of the failures and the disappointments that they have early. And I think in some ways now is the best time to have those experiences, because I do think that this team will learn and react and grow and ultimately qualify comfortably.
18 months is a long time when you're 18 years old, as Giovanni Reina literally is. Do you guys remember that Brendan Aronson is 20? That's 2-0.
The veteran Brendan Aronson.
Brendan Aronson cannot buy alcohol or cigarettes in many states.
Or weed.
What What the fuck?
Most of the team can't rent a car.
Jesus.
And this is a perfect segue into one of the reasons why we were a little short-staffed tonight. The US team had a couple injuries, including Dest going down during the game, which left, to be fair, left the US missing a lot of important pieces that it normally would have. So there is definitely that playing into things. One of those was a self-inflicted wound, which is Weston McKennie being dropped from the team because of a breach of team protocol that is unspecified. To speculate, we think it's not a fight. We don't think there's some beef going on, because then more than one player would get suspended. We think Weston just did something stupid. He just did something a little foolish.
I threw a guess out there of hiring a stripper, perhaps, for the team.
He may have been out late at night getting hot chicken in Nashville. Who knows?
Or something else.
With all of
he is old enough to buy cigarettes and alcohol.
He's old enough to buy cigarettes and alcohol. So those are part of the things that go with having a young team. And hopefully these experiences will be bring enough pain and enough of a sting that they will set in. And that by the time this team is ready to go into those, final crunch moments of qualifying, they've gotten this out of their system. To a lesser extent, we saw that with this Adams play that you mentioned.
Oh my God. I was just going to make that comparison. Weston McKennie's, youthful mistake is hiring a stripper or whatever the fuck he did. Tyler Adams is on the field, doing a world-class play and then ruining his own excellent play. And Pulisic's is going dark, going nowhere.
Playing second fiddle to Brendan Aronson.
Yeah, man. For 45, 50 minutes of this game, just no Pulisic. What is it? How can it be? How can it be? There's a beautiful field, great ball. The referee's being nice. This is all the things that the porcelain prince needs. And yet no Pulisic, 50 minutes of this game.
And it's a thing. It's a thing for Chelsea, and it's a thing for the US. He has games where he's totally on, and he has games where he just goes anonymous. I can't explain it. Can you say, from the perspective of a player, how does that happen?
I honestly, I don't have an answer for you. What I can say, from having played for decent amounts of hours in my life, is that bad form is a thing. So you can have games where you just didn't sleep right or whatever, and you just play like ass. But getting involved in the play is not a form thing. It's a hustle thing. It's like the choice.
And he had moments or patches within this game where he was super active, super involved. So I don't get it. I don't get why it vacillates so much with him, and it's him in particular.
Yeah.
So with Sargent, we've found that it's almost the norm. Like, usually Sargent is lightly involved, and then every now and then he has some insane game where he finds a way to stay connected to the play throughout. But with Pulisic, it's even more frustrating because he shows so many flashes of being able to influence games and really take things over, but he just has these periods where it falls apart, and it really hurts the team.
I think it's clear that from watching today that Adams was the real captain of this team tonight. Pulisic had the armband, but Adams was the guy. I think if we're going to talk so are there any other immaturities to point out here? We're running through our museum of immaturities. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. There weren't many overt gaffes.
Not too many overt gaffes. It was sad to see Des go down when he did, because he had just found the game, But I wonder if there is a maturity thing there. Sometimes with injuries, it takes players a while to learn not to overextend themselves in moments that they care about a lot. So Yedlin comes to mind. He would get injured as soon as it was a game that was important to him. And it seems like Dest has gone through something similar.
One moment, please. I have an audio issue. I'll be right back.
YouTube only content.
Audio issue resolved.
Fantastic. But so, all right, we've reached the end of our list of immaturities, perhaps, and there's a lot to be sour about. Just because it feels like this was a winnable game, and we're now
Totally.
2 games in with 2 points. What is the fucking deal? This is not the team that we thought we were signing up for. This is not the experience of Olympic qualifiers I thought I was signing up for. And to add to the bitter taste, if I may, the lack of awareness that this is even happening is really upsetting. So just on the field, there's
Deeply
a lot to be
upsetting.
upset about. Off the field, no one gives a fuck or has any idea that this is happening. And I wish I could say that they're mistaken. I wish I could go downstairs to the actual party that's happening at my house right now and say, guys, you are missing out on this epic soccer team, but they're not. They made the right choice to fucking not pay attention to this tonight because it wasn't super interesting and we didn't do that well. Ty, you've mentioned that as one of your fears for this team, that qualifiers would kind of come and go without it, ticking the radar or whatever phrase you want to use. How are you feeling at this point? It can't be good.
No, I don't feel good. I think it's natural. There's ebbs and flows. There's good performances and bad performances, even for great teams. So I'm certainly not giving up on the idea that this is a great team, and we were saying, does this look like a World Cup quarterfinalist? And tonight, of course, no. But when this team has performed at its best, it's been a much higher peak than we've ever seen from the U.S. national team. And there was this stretch. It was, all friendlies recently in the spring. And so it's kind of irrelevant. But even comparing those friendlies to all the friendlies that we've seen before, it was like the U.S. scored like 20 goals in 3 games or some shit. It was absurd, like unprecedented levels of performance, particularly offensive performance, particularly creative performance. And that's what we're looking for here. So the trophies that the team got over the summer were very heartening because it demonstrated that this generation was not about to happen, that this generation is happening, and that they are able to already do extremely well in CONCACAF competition. And so, I accept that there's going to be some patches where things don't look so good. And, so I'm certainly not pushing any panic buttons. I think this is all a part of the process, and I think the team will learn from this. I think Greg's weirdsies are really testing me because last episode I said I'm okay with it. I don't get it a lot of the time, but I'm okay with it because I have faith that it's going to work. And this kind of thing really tests my faith, but I still remain confident that the team will qualify with room to spare, and that Greg, despite his weirdsies, has a lot of qualities that he's drawing more out of the team than they otherwise would produce. So I'm okay with it. I'm sanguine, I'm calm. If the team goes and loses to Honduras, my finger will edge closer to the panic button. I won't quite be there, but I think it's all right. It's a part of the process, and there's much better to come from this team. And I don't think, I think where it's ultimately going to matter is if the US were to make that World Cup, do we have performances like this in that World Cup?
Yeah.
And so that's when the spotlight's really going to be on. That's when the team will finally have the chance to impress the public and get them to watch whatever next, big competitions we have. And that's where the rubber is really going to meet the road. And I think the team will be ready for that challenge. This generation is just too good not to succeed at that stage.
18 months. 18 months is a long time. GGG, the Greg Berhalter experience now at Universal Studios. Just barely enough. A little too late, which is, I think, how we can agree how we felt about these subs. Christian Roldan, Conrad, and Josh Sargent.
Am I missing something?
In the 82nd
can you tell
minute.
me, am I missing something? Is this
not missing something?
Brilliant?
Is this some genius thing?
Move that
I
don't understand?
It should have happened in the 70th. But hey, look, it is what it is. There are silver linings here. One of them is that if no one's going to pay attention to the USMNT, at least, let's see. No, if the USMNT is going to be underwhelming, at least no one's paying attention. That's So
Great
there we
point.
go. There's a silver lining there. Let's do a few other silver linings. I think it's really important to appreciate how incredible this goal was. The goal that we did score.
Totally, yes.
There were so many free kick goals. I love that we won tournaments over the summer, but there were so many free kick goals. We were dependent on them. And my hope for this game was a goal from the run of play. And gosh darn it, we got it. And it wasn't just any, it was everything I want from that goal. Was everything I love about soccer. Just 30 seconds. It was the pressing. It was the team play. It was rugged at times. It was tough from Pulisic in this moment. It was urgent from Anthony Robinson on the left side, sprinting his tight buns off to try to get to this on the end line. It was
Great
by
ass.
the time, fantastic ass on that man. And by the time the ball gets to Brendan Aronson, Paxton? No, Brendan Aronson. By the time the ball gets to Brendan Aronson, it is a tap-in. It is a FIFA tap-in. It was unmissable. And I really think that is, worth celebrating. And I think it's indicative of what you're talking about here, Ty, which is that although this team is having a straight up stutter start in these Olympic qualifiers, it has the feeling.
World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, the stutteriest start ever for these Olympic qualifiers. Although this team is stuttering to the start for World Cup qualifiers, this team has a feeling of one that once it hits its gear will not go back. That there is a level that this team can achieve that is higher than anything we've seen to date. And this goal is just a little glimpse of what this team could be.
Well, and inconsistency comes with youth. That's part of what you gain as you get older as a professional athlete, is the ability to maintain a consistent level. And so you see this a lot with Dortmund. Dortmund is a great comp for this US national team, because they will play scintillating, perfect soccer, and they'll come away with those victories that you expect. Like they'll just demolish Mainz at home 5-0, and then the next week they'll come out, they'll go to some random ass team and they'll struggle, and they'll come up with these weird draws away, or these random losses where they just don't look like themselves. And that just comes with the territory when you're figuring things out and you're learning, how to be a professional, how to react to different situations. So, to me, it's okay. And the thing, I'm glad you brought up the nature of the goal, because when it was 0-0, if it had gone to full time at 0-0, I would be substantially more concerned.
Yeah.
With this offense, to not get a goal in 180 minutes of World Cup qualifying would have been really, really distressing. But the fact that we got a goal, and the fact that it was such a great goal, I feel like it portends well to what this team's going to be able to put together in the future. And we were even missing talent. We're let alone Gio, who's missing. We're also missing Tim Weah from this camp.
Yeah, man.
So there's lots of weapons that are in the player pool that we're not even getting to see be a part of this.
Yeah.
So
and Paxton Aronson, Brendan Aronson looks fantastic. Fantastic.
Time for Paxton.
This guy, I know, call him up. This guy, Brendan Aronson, is a shining light right now. He is not the most talented on the squad, but his mentality and his grit and his willingness to hustle is yielding dividends. He's like a Pauly Areola Nips that doesn't miss sitters. It's incredible. I love this. I'm loving this kid.
I love this kid too. And you say he's not the most talented, but is he really that
untalented?
Less talented?
He's pretty fucking talented.
He's the second most talented winger.
He's the second most talented Aronson.
He could be. Yeah, that's very true.
No. It
depends what you call Gio.
I just think
is a
I think when you
talent.
Yeah, when you look at Gio, Pulisic, Tim Weah, these guys are that's like
I think
they're
Brandon
oozing.
Aronson is better than Tim Weah today.
I disagree. He's a coach's pick. I think Tim Weah is more talented than Brandon Aronson today, and that's different than do you play him? But maybe Serginho Dest is a better example. Clearly more talent than Brandon Aronson. Anyways, the point is, this kid is great, and it's a serious silver lining. Ty, we are approaching another game. So let's shake this one off. Let's move forward. As Pulisic said in his post-game interview, all we can do is just move forward. He seemed upset as hell, and I love that. We are going to play a team called Honduras. They are called that because it is the name of their nation. We are going to go away for this game. My first question for you about the third and final game of these Olympic qualifiers, just kidding, was not the first time, I'm tired, sleepy, of these World Cup qualifiers is there anything we can do about this roster situation? We've racked up a lot of injuries. I thought the whole deal was that at the beginning we had more than we needed so that we could switch some people out potentially. Is that a real thing? Is there any way, any chance that Matthew Hoppe can get on this bus and go with us to Honduras?
So I believe that the 23 for each match is independent. So I don't think there's any reason why the US can't get anybody else and call them in for the Honduras game. So for this game, for instance,
Freddie Adu.
We could get Freddie Adu. Sean Johnson came in to be the replacement for Stefan. So Sean Johnson came in and was available for this game. So what that means is that, let's say Gio has a longer term injury, they have to send him back. Maybe Weston has to go back. I don't know how bad this breach of team protocol is. Like, is this just a slap on the wrist or is this some serious shit? Already missing Tim Weah, and he was never really replaced. I mean, we are getting a little thin up top and in the midfield. So I could absolutely see some players being called in, and I think that would be a pretty good idea, to be honest. I sure hope that they're investigating every possible option.
A little CJ Sapong action in here. It's
sure,
you talk to
CJ Sapong.
Come on,
he's having a hell of a year.
It'd be tough. It would be tough to come all the way from wherever Matthew Hoppe's at right now. It's a long way away.
Not that tough. I don't know. I bet you Matthew Hoppe is in the air on the way to Nashville right now.
Yeah, Matthew Hoppe's like, I just happen to be in Honduras at that time. That's so funny, guys. I'm gonna be there. If you're trying to hang, like, I will be there.
I was gonna be at the Hilton. Where are you gonna
Matthew Hoppe's
be at the Hilton also?
Oh my god, that's so crazy. Matthew Hoppe's like, oh, you're going to Gov Ball too? I have tickets to Gov Ball. I will see you there. We hope. I hope Hoppe just bought his tickets anyways. Just that's the type of shit.
Is there anybody else you would want to bring in as like a spark? He's kind of the only one. Someone we had a comment in the chat today missing Busio and Vines, who are both good shouts.
I'm good
starting new
on
European
both.
Journeys.
Yeah, no, I don't think either of them would make the difference. Tanner Tessman would make a bigger difference than Busio and Vines. It's tough, man. It's tough. You want like a someone with some bite. Is there a number 9 out there in the universe? Is there anyone we can try? How's DK's injury right now?
Right, yeah. So DK and Zardes are the 9s who are missing. And it is so odd to say, but I think Chassis Zardes would have upgraded the team today.
I agree. This is the world we live in. The Christian Roldan sub came too late. The Christian Roldan sub came too late. Giassi Zardes would have made our team better. That if we could just take that clip and show it to us 2 years ago, we'd throw up in our mouths. But it's true. It's true.
It is true.
Jesus. All right. What should we know about Honduras?
Okay. Well, so Honduras, I would say, is the prototypical Central American team that gets underrated, and is actually a lot better than they seem on paper. They're always quite organized, quite clever. They do all the dark arts stuff very well, and they have just enough talent to find those moments, those big moments, to beat a team like the U.S. So we very rarely put up like a big number on Honduras. I think it's happened a couple times in these these home games, but Honduras usually sits back pretty well, keep the game really tight, and they'll try to win on the break, or with set piece moments and things like that. We recently had a famous run-in with the Honduran program when we got knocked out of the Olympics by the Honduran team back in March. And
Oh, you mean the World Cup qualifiers?
Yeah. Thank God not. Thank God not. And those of you who are with us will remember our angst about this. And it's actually been several tournaments in a row that we've gotten knocked out by Honduras. So this is a program that is very, very serious. They're a team that I look to be in the picture for qualification every single cycle, despite the resumes of their players. They just have a really solid program, and they're bringing in I see a couple of the names from that U23 group kind of matriculating into the senior group and joining a core that's been turning over a lot. So I don't think they're in their strongest period. They've had some kind of like stalwart players who have moved on, and so they're kind of redefining what the team is going to look like. But I expect a very, very tough match. It's one I would never expect the US to win handily. And this is very different from El Salvador, by the way. This is another thing that pisses me off about this whole construct about away games in CONCACAF being really tough, is people go, well, El Salvador, Honduras, same. And it's like, no, you realize El Salvador is like half the team that Honduras is. I mean, people, I think it's just I don't know, maybe a little bit of a xenophobic or, elitist way of just lumping all the Central American countries together, all the Caribbean countries together, and saying they're all the same. So anyway, Honduras, a big test. I would hope for a US victory, but I think it's been a long, long time since we've won down there. I think the last time, I think it might have been that last qualifier where Zusi scored the goal that got Mexico into the World Cup. I forget if that was Panama or Honduras.
Zusi would.
It's been a while. So I think a draw in Honduras is actually not a bad result. That's one, I sure hope that the US is able to win, but I wouldn't expect it to be a big win. And I think, losing is a real possibility. So I am just hoping for a very solid and very mature performance from the US to try to shut them down, try to impose ourselves on the game as much as possible in a difficult environment.
Well. I love your point about the difference between Honduras and El Salvador. Very important. Here's what I'll say. If we can defeat Honduras away, all of a sudden this window looks really different. So there is a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a lot to root for.
Over everything.
Yeah, and not just paper over, but that would, because paper over is kind of has a certain connotation. That would show a real substantial growth over the course of 3 games, and it would be an actual achievement for this team. Something that the previous generations of the U.S. men's national team were found difficult and failed to do often.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, 5 points is way different than 2 points or 3 points from this window. Ty, if we walk out of here with 3 points total, is a window a success or a failure?
It's a failure. Window's already a failure. So I think that ship has sailed.
The window is already a failure. So if we
Correct.
defeat Honduras away, is this window a success or a failure?
Failure.
Wow. I'd give it to him.
Relative failure.
I know. I'm forcing you into 2.
Yeah, you're putting me into some boxes.
I get that.
Some boxes.
I get that.
It's I would say I would have expected 6 points minimum from this window. So to end up with 5 would still be a disappointment. 3, bigger disappointment. still not the end of the world. It's a long qualifying campaign, lots of time and opportunity to make up that gap. But yeah, it's definitely these first two results have not been good enough.
All right. Well, for me, if we defeat Honduras away with this same group, injury, spackled, smattered, bunch of injuries, and having just came out of these experiences, if we can show a quick turnaround and a quick learning curve for going, quote unquote, away in CONCACAF, I would consider this window a marginal success. There's a lot of hope in that, and I'm a hopeful dude. Listen, any last words here before we leave the people
if we have a 3-goal victory in Honduras, yes, the window is a success.
All right, there is a way in which
There's
in these
a way.
90
There's
minutes we can have a successful window. Okay, that's all I wanted to hear. That's all I was asking for. Come on.
Come on, Hoppy
Come
hat trick.
on. Happiness is the truth. He's already in Honduras. Oh my God, this is so
can't
crazy.
Believe it.
It's
That's
like
crazy.
this joke needs
Matthew,
to be played by
be here.
Yeah, this is a Zach Galifianakis joke waiting to happen. Okay, guys, I love tea of all kinds. I'll tell you a few teas I love. I just tried this for the first time. It's called Kava stress relief. Ty tells me that Kava is a drug of some kind.
It's a real ass drug.
I'm on it, and I like it. I like ginger tea a lot. I think I've done the teas before. I'm realizing now as I do this, and I especially love rooibos. But I don't love any of that shit.
Rooibos.
Rooibos. Let's fucking go. I don't love any of that shit as much as I absolutely love the Nats. Let's go.
Goodbye, people. Okay. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you for joining us. This has been our podcast. I will go back, go through some questions, anything that came up.
I'm trying to dip.
Yeah, you got to dip. One question real quick.
Okay.
Lineup for Wednesday, real quick.
Okay.
Let's
with the
assume
current
no
roster.
Geo. Let's assume no Geo. No. And let's assume Weston is back. So Weston comes back in. Angry Weston.
Yeah. Turnerverse, Yedlin,
Turner,
Robinson,
Brooks.
Robinson, Adams, McKenny.
Wait, no Dest? You want Yedlin?
Dest is injured, I assume.
Dest is injured. Okay, yeah.
Adams, McKenny, Leggett, Pulisic, Aronson. Yikes.
Pepe.
Do it. Just fucking do it.
Third time's the charm.
Oh, we should have mentioned that we need to get Pepe some minutes.
We got to get him 1 minute.
We need to get him a fucking minute.
I think it's really important that we get him 1 minute.
Yeah. So why not? Let's give him 90. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Yeah.
No one else is doing it. It'll be so cap tied.
Oh my God. I've become, my lights went out. No one could see me. Okay.
Yeah. What just happened, Doug?
I have my lights automatically turn off at 11 o'clock to remind me to go to bed. So
well, that's a good reminder. This is why you do it.
That's why I do it. All right.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Thank you for joining us. Hang in there. Keep your head up. We're going to qualify.
Okay.